We're live.
Hello, happy Sunday, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday Masters weekend. But we are here. We are back home from a wonderful trip, and I'm sure we'll talk all about that. But welcome.
What do you mean? We are in the Cruising Canucks studio live from Augusta, Georgia to cover the Masters today. So let's get to it. We're back.
Well, again, welcome. We are Jill and Jerry, the Cruising Canucks.
Yeah, and this is our Sunday afternoon live, and it has become a podcast. You're going to want to listen to this one over and over again as we discuss the Masters, or maybe private islands for cruise ships. Depends.
You could probably do a whole hour just talking to the Masters. I'm sure you could.
I've got the scoreboard going.
Mm-hmm.
I have got my Masters cup that I picked up on the property on Wednesday. Got my hat. I'm even sitting in my Masters chair.
Yes, that's why he's so much shorter right now, because they're tiny little petite chairs that they let you have at the Masters. Are you going to show people them?
Sure. Do you want to
Stand
show?
up. These are the size of these chairs. There's no arms on them, but they do have Masters. And anyways, this is the little chair, but it's kind of more like a child-sized chair, in my opinion. So it's comical when you see Mr. Canuck get himself in one of these chairs.
There we go.
But you're going to watch the final day in this chair?
That's the plan. Yep. If I have to leave, it's because something big has happened in the tournament. The top groups haven't gone off yet. And if you're not watching this live, I forgive you. Today's the one day you get a pass that you don't have to watch us live because the Masters is on right now. Network coverage just started on CBS. Yep. Maybe one day they'll invite me to be, co-host it.
Color commentary?
Yep. I could do it. I know the course inside and out. Yes.
Well, I don't know. Anyways.
You don't know.
Let's move on.
Moving on from the Masters. Is that possible on Masters Sunday? Oh, what's our show about today? Do we know? I'm just trying to click and my buttons are all confused today.
He's so excited.
I am.
He's like a kid on Christmas morning.
Today's show. So yes, there was some news out this week about private islands for cruises. Seems to be an ongoing thing. There seems to be one specific company making a lot of noise. That's kind of gets me a little crazy. So we're going to discuss private islands. Do you like them? Do you hate them? Is it the future of cruising?
Which one's your favorite?
Yeah, which ones are your least favorites? Which ones don't even get off the ship for?
Right.
Yeah, so we're going to talk all about private islands and a little bit about the news that Carnival Corporation released. And unfortunately, they're trying to mess with some of my favorite private islands. So
they've got his tail feathers up.
Exactly. I've got kind of the little short guy thing going on today, so that makes me extra rambunctious. Is that acceptable?
So sorry, guys. I'm so sorry.
What?
Oh my gosh. I'm already having to apologize for you 2 minutes in to the show.
So we're going to do some stuff. What are we going to do? We are going to do some other stuff now.
Okay.
What should we do next?
I don't know.
We should give some updates here. Let's see what we're going to do. Recent content. Do you know what our recent content was?
Our Virgin Vlog series.
Yep. We were last in San Juan, and before that, Puerto Plata. We had a good time on both locations. And our next vlog coming out will be us in first time ever in St. Croix.
Yes.
So, and you would not believe all the turtles.
Oh, yes. If you're a fan of sea turtles, St. Croix is the place to be, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, watch for that one coming out early this coming week. And then after that, we have a couple more sea days and days on Virgin. So, yeah.
There you go.
Exciting. And group cruise update.
Okay.
So we still have room on the Caribbean Princess. We've been booking people. There's been a few people here and there. We've been doing, a couple bookings a week or so. So it's slowly been growing. And we now have done some final numbers on the Volendam and back and forth with quotes. So we do have space now back on the Volendam.
We do.
So we thought we'd let everybody know. So we had kind of paused booking anybody until we caught up with the bookings for the Volendam. But it looks like we still have some more room.
Right.
So if you are interested in the Volendam, then reach out to us. The easiest way is to go to our website, cruisingcanucks.com, and you'll see group cruise stuff. I think the Volendam one actually still says on the website that we are booked full.
But ignore that. Yeah, we need to update our website, but you're right. But we do have space for probably 5 more couples.
Yeah.
Is that what we're thinking? So we do have space if this is one that you want to join us on. And again, there is room on the Caribbean Princess also.
And let me see here, going back to where I was. I just noticed I'm not getting comments again, but we should put Journey of the Secret Word update only because sometimes everybody doesn't catch all of our lives.
Yeah.
That is still on a pause. In the Virgin, you're going to see all the letters still coming out.
Yes.
But we haven't figured out what we're doing for a prize. If we're going to open, we haven't decided. Maybe by the end of the Virgin, we'll decide to do something with it and find some prizes. But we've been so busy traveling and everything else, we really haven't put a lot of effort into finding a new sponsor. So we're just kind of sitting in the status quo of there's letters, but there's no
letters, and a lot of you asked us to keep doing the letters and just want to play along for the fun of it. So until we get something figured out, we will keep doing the letters and having the contest going. But we're still trying to negotiate and work out how it's going to be sponsored from here on out.
And question or comment of the week is up next.
Okay.
And that is from C. Morris. Mr. Canucks said he'd do Carnival again before he would do Virgin. Can I ask you guys what you don't like about Carnival? Do you want to go first or second? I can go
first and say, so we've done 23 Carnival cruises, and we started cruising back in 2006, something like that. And our first 20 cruises were all Carnival. And it's the reason why we've stopped doing Carnival is that they have gone to a more casual cruise experience than what we fell in love with. When we first started doing Carnival, it was very formal with 2 formal nights, linen tablecloths every single night, big chocolate extravaganza buffets at midnight, more our style of cruising. They've gone away from, big shows. They still do the big shows, but they've also put in a lot of game show things and different stuff that's more loud and party-like than what we personally like. So we sort of made the switch to Princess and then also into Holland America. That sort of gave us the stuff that we fell in love with cruising, which is the relaxing, quiet atmosphere with a little bit of nightlife and simple elegance in the evening. That would be, I think, my best way to describe it.
That's your answer?
Yeah.
Mine's kind of similar, I guess. I feel that Carnival, that we didn't leave Carnival. I feel that Carnival left us. That our cruising experience was pretty consistent, and they kept changing how things were going on in Carnival. And all of a sudden, before you knew it, all the nice atriums where you used to be able to listen to a little bit of music or catch a drink or kind of socialize with people became this hub of a party center where everything had to be happening with screaming music and game shows and everything else. And the whole ambiance around the ship changed on Carnival. It went from being a little party here and there that was organized and you could attend to if you wanted to or not, to everything had to be all in, and it was just all... Yeah. They took away all the little things we liked. I love something. They used to have something. Some of you old-time Carnival cruises may recognize something called the Taster Bar. Yeah. You used to be able to go for a pre-dinner snack and a drink, and they'd always have different samplings of the specialty restaurants.
And they also would have like live music through that. It was very elegant.
Dancing and everything else. And also their parties kind of changed. Their welcome back parties for like platinum guests. They kind of changed a lot. That they became more of a get people in and out of here, give them a couple drinks. They used to feed you.
It used to be an event, and now it's
they used to have appetizers. They give time for you to get up and go dancing with a live band. Like all that went away. So we felt like Carnival kind of left us.
Very good way to put it.
We still kind of cruise the same way, but they decided that their path was in a different direction than what we wanted. And even though we were Platinum Carnival, and we loved the experience up to that point, it was like this isn't the same cruise line anymore. So what I always say to people that love Carnival now, I always ask them, how long have you been with Carnival? And a lot of them are like more recent than us. Yes. And I'm like, well, you love the new Carnival. That's why you love Carnival. We love the older Carnival, and that's why we have the disconnect. But it isn't that Carnival is bad. No. It's different than what we love.
It's a different style. Yeah. We like dressing up and on formal nights, and Jerry wearing a suit and myself wearing a nice dress. And, I think why we made the decision, I can bring it right to a specific time, and it was Christmas Eve. We were on a cruise. I'm wearing a red dress for Christmas. Jerry's in a suit. It was formal night, and they went and sat a man next to me that was wearing a basketball jersey with no sleeves and gym shorts in the formal dining room. And I thought, this isn't an elegant dining experience. So, things like that. Ready to move on?
Okay.
Yep.
Trivia question of the week. There you go. Carnival announced that they are renaming Mahogany Bay.
Renaming it?
Yeah, they're renaming it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I have given you 4 options. Oh. And you have to choose what is the new name.
Oh, God.
Okay, you ready? Is it going to be called A, Isla Party Beach?
I hope not.
B, Isla Tropical, C, Isla Festival, or D, Isla Carnival? What do you think is the answer? What are they renaming Mahogany Bay at Roatan?
Maybe Isle of the last one. I'm going to go with D. Carnival.
You're going to go with D, Isla Carnival?
Yeah.
I got
Rob's going C.
C.
Me and my manly man's with me with D.
Bob and Steve are saying B.
Isle Tropica we've got. Kate's agreeing with me with D as the
So
last
we've got 1,
one.
2, 3 B's, it looks like. 2 D's.
Yeah.
No, another D, another D.
Yeah.
You don't know.
I assume D just because I know that they're planning on having new ships with Tropical name and that like they're bringing back
Festival.
those names from their old ships. But to name a whole island off of it I just think it would make more sense because there's going to be all kinds of ships going there. I don't know.
Here's the final answer.
Okay.
It's coming up.
Yeah.
It is B.
B.
Isla Tropical.
Oh, there you go. Some of you knew more. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Some have the answers here already.
Scott had it, our trivia expert that helped us win trivia. He had it.
Yeah. Yeah. Good job, Scott.
Granny Teen says A, Isla Party Beach.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've been there a few times and it's never been a wild party there, but yeah. Anyways.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So I guess that segues us into the show today.
Oh, it does.
About private islands, right?
All right. Yeah.
And so I guess some of the news that caught my attention in the last week or two since we've been traveling and kind of missing out on some cruise news. But one of the things that caught my attention was that Carnival seems to be really changing things up at the private islands. They'd already announced that they were adding a pier and they were changing things up at Half Moon Key.
Mm-hmm.
If you've watched our vlogs, you've heard
Carnival Corporation.
And so, if you've watched our vlogs, you know that I've been taking some jabs at that, thinking, do not ruin this oasis. And it's so ironic because my 2 favorite private islands that I've always thought were the vision of what a beautiful dreamlike scenario of tropical paradise looked like. For me, it was always Half Moon Key was beautiful.
And Half Moon Key right now, just so if people don't know what you're referring to and they haven't been to the Caribbean before, Half Moon Key is right now Holland America's private island.
But other ships go there, including Carnival right now. Mm-hmm. And the other one that I always thought was a tropical oasis was Mahogany Bay. And which is in Roatan,
right?
Which is part of Honduras. Mm-hmm. And I just feel so violated because my 2 tropical paradises, Carnival's getting in there with the dozers and all the equipment and they're just ripping things up and they're adding stuff. And it takes away from what I pictured as being a tropical oasis. And now it feels like it's losing that. So what they're doing at Roatan is it's been said that they're adding a whole bunch of new features, including like beachside cabanas. And they're going to be having an in-ground pool that's going to have a swim-up bar. They're doing all out. And which scares me because we saw the results of what happened at Grand Turk when Carnival went in there and did some changes for extra dock space to the snorkeling. And Roatan has beautiful snorkeling right there at Mahogany Bay.
It does.
And I would hate to see that disturbed because they're going to add another section to the dock to get the bigger monster ships in, is my fear.
It might happen.
And I'm not sure if that's what's going on or if it's just going to be on the actual beach that they're making the changes. But yeah,
You're fearful of change.
I'm fearful of Carnival changing stuff, yeah.
So, I mean, I understand what you're saying. We do love Half Moon Key. That's one of our favorite places. And so it will be changing. And Mahogany Bay, absolutely. If you haven't been there, if you go on any Carnival Corporation ships, everything's within walking distance. You just get up, you can swim, you can snorkel, you can go shopping, you can go to restaurants, everything's there. It is beautiful. But my only thing that I keep thinking is that when you talk about those improvements, I think, well, we just went for the very first time to Perfect Cay in Coco Cay, which is a Royal Caribbean's private island. And we were very hesitant. We thought it would be too over the top and too built up with all the pools and the water slides and all the stuff. And yet after spending a day there with the world's largest ship parked docked beside us, we had a fabulous day and it worked really well.
But Mahogany Bay is this little sliver sand spit that comes out from where that bridge and gondola comes across, and it's got water on 3 sides, technically 4 sides actually.
Yeah.
And whereas Perfect Day at Coco Cay. That
It's
is
a
a
lot bigger.
big island, and
It's a lot
they've been
bigger.
able to space things out, so people are spaced out. Pools and beaches.
Very
They're not,
valid point.
and so
You're right. It's a much smaller square footage we're talking about.
I don't know
Mahogany
how they do it at Roatan without destroying some of the quaint little features that are already there.
So there's a question coming in right now saying, does Celebrity have a private island? So Celebrity goes to Perfect Day at Coco Cay, which Christine is just writing also. That's how, so we were on a Celebrity ship that we went to Royal Caribbean's private island because Royal Caribbean Corporation owns Celebrity. So you get to go there if you're on a Celebrity ship.
And the other thing that Royal Caribbean also has is they have Labadee,
right,
which is in Haiti. It's not a private island, but it's kind of this gated off section of Haiti. And they're also working on a new complex at Costa Maya. That there's been stories about that being taken over by Royal Caribbean, and which I think could be an improvement because I'm not sure you can make Costa Maya worse. Like
Costa Maya is not really our favorite spot. It's very crowded and there's not a whole lot to do once you leave the cruise port area, in our opinion. We've tried doing a few different things. So Costa Maya does tend to be a place where we stay on the ship and make it a ship day. So yeah, maybe some improvements there will be a very welcoming thing if they have something more kind of.
Yeah, and I guess the bigger fear I have, maybe not fear, but I think a realization is that the reason we're talking about private islands, the reason we're talking about modifications to Costa Maya, all this stuff, is because they are building ships that are too big to go into normal ports anymore. The ports don't want them. The tourist locations that we've been going to,
small islands or communities don't want the mega ships, and so they're building private islands to bring everybody to, so that they have places to dock for the day.
There may already be. I haven't checked it lately, but it'd be interesting to see if anybody else has noticed. Is there itineraries now where ships only go to private islands? They don't even go to a normal port. That's only their own facilities. Is that where they're going to, and they come back to the starting port?
Yeah,
because I think that's the direction we're heading right now.
Yeah, for the Caribbean run, for sure. That is the case. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
So let us know in the comments, what is your favorite island out of the ones that you've been to? And I'm going to ask you that question. Out of all the private islands we've been to, what is your favorite one?
Oh, Carnival keeps racking them.
Right now, with your experience that nothing's been changed, which one's your favorite one? So we've gone to Norwegian's private island. We've gone to Carnival's private island, Holland America's, Princess, MSC, now Celebrity and Royal Caribbean. Which one is your favorite that we've been to?
I have to admit, and I thought I'd never admit this 6 months ago in my life, that I do think that Perfect Day was a near perfect day on a private island. As much as I don't want to say that to you, I really think that's my honest answer. As much as I want to say Roatan the way it is now, or Half Moon Cay the way it is now, I thoroughly enjoyed the experience that was provided to me on Perfect Day by just the way Royal Caribbean managed that island, designed that island. I found no flaw in it. I thought you could have any type of day you wanted there, whether it was a perfect day at the beach, or it was at the pool, or it was the kids in the kids area. They really had it all.
Yep. And so the Pinky gal Travels is saying the same thing. Her favorite is Perfect Day. Twyla is saying having a cabana on Half Moon Cay is her favorite. And
I see that.
That would be lovely. We've never spent the money and done that yet, but I have talked to Twyla privately about that, and I do think it's on my list. I'm going to do it one of these days, Twilight, because I think it would sound like a beautiful time. And Bruce is saying Half Moon Cay. Gary's saying Half Moon Cay. Yeah, so there's quite a few with that.
It would have been number one for me if it wasn't for my last trip to Perfect Day. That would be my number two for sure. And Labadee, I've heard really good things about Royal Caribbean's Labadee and Haiti.
And we have not been to that one, so we can't comment on that. We've had friends and family go and absolutely love it and have a blast there. We've also gone to the one that Norwegian has in, is it Belize that they have their private one? And that's a very beautiful spot too, with a mixture of ocean and pools and everything else.
So here's an interesting comment, and this is where it starts to get a little bit crazy with the differences of all the private islands. Will your drink package work or not work on the private islands?
Right. So Heidi is saying, wish our cards carried over to private islands for upgrades we buy, like the drink package. And I agree. So some islands, it does do that. And so that weighs into what makes your perfect one. So for instance, when we were in Perfect Cay, our drink package that we had for the celebrity cruise worked on the island. So did our internet package. That was huge bonuses. When you go to Princess's private island, your Princess Plus or Princess Premier package will work on their private island.
Norwegian's a no.
Norwegian.
At least the Belize one. I think maybe the other one does.
The other one, it does, yeah. So it's funny, Norwegians sort of divide it because they have two private islands, and one private island, their original one that they have in, I can't get the name of it in my head right now.
It's in Bahamas.
Your drink package works there, but the new one in Belize, your drink package doesn't work. So I agree with you. I think it would be nice to have your packages work both on land, on when you're on their private island and on their ship for sure. It's a nice bonus when it does work, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Half Moon Key is kind of a funny one. If you go there on a Carnival ship, it definitely has never worked.
No.
But Holland America, I don't know if they still do, but once upon a time, they used to have a deal where you could pay an extra $20 or $30.
It was $25 we paid.
And that would give you a drink package that would work on the island, whether you had it on the ship or not.
Yeah. So the first time we went on on Holland America, we didn't have a drink package, but we bought a drink package for that one day to have on the island. But again, that was quite a few years ago before COVID, so I'm not sure if that's still the policy.
Rob is saying that the Norwegian Belize one's called Harvest K.
Thank you.
The Bahamas one, I'm still trying to remember what that one is. And I'm seeing there a comment, so the one you didn't cover that also has drinks included on the private island is MSC's
MSC Ocean's Key. Yeah.
Yep.
K. Yeah. It does. That one, you can have your drink package there too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that definitely plays into it.
And does the internet work on there too? I'm trying to think if it did or not, but I know it definitely did on Perfect Day. I thought that was amazing that I was taking pictures of us, enjoying the day, and I was able to post it right there from the pool when we were having a drink.
Well, Princess is the same way. The drink package works and the internet works on Princess. And at their private island, I guess it's the corner of a private island. It's not truly a dedicated island.
Right.
Because actually just down the coast from where Princess has their private island, Disney has their private island.
Right. And apparently that's a beautiful private island. We haven't been to that one, so we can't comment on that either. But
Princess has their internet that works along with the drink package as well.
So yeah, it would be, there's so many things to consider when you're booking a cruise. And then if you're booking a cruise because it's a Caribbean cruise and you want to be in the ocean and do the snorkeling and all of those things that I love about the Caribbean, then that plays into. So I think of like when Jerry talks about what his favorite island is, often for him, it's about the amount of shade, how good the food is, where it is. For me, it's the snorkeling. How good the snorkeling is. So yeah, I'm very fearful about the changes to some of these islands if it's going to make the snorkeling not as good as what it's been in the past. When you talk about dredging the areas to get the bigger ships in, that's when you lose the natural ocean life in under it, right?
Yeah, so, and then you get, even though it's not a private island per se at Roatan, it's kind of a part of other island. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting at Mahogany Bay, which I'll probably still call it forever. But there's nothing included there. You don't get drinks, you don't get food, you don't get anything. All you got is a beach. You get beach shares are included, I guess.
Beach shares are included, but you're right. And Rob is saying it's Great Stirrup Key is the other Norwegian island. Yes, thank you. Thanks, Rob.
I'm trying to think if we missed any islands.
I don't.
There's kind of an island that we didn't mention that we just were recently at.
Oh. Virgins.
Right?
So Virgin has an interesting take on it because they don't have I guess they do have an island, but so Bimini is where you go if you're on a Virgin ship for their sort of ocean day. And they have this great big resort built there with pools and swim up bars and buffet. Everything is included. The food is included. The beautiful ocean, all of that sort of thing. They shuttle you because it's not right where you dock. You dock and then walk the pier and get onto like a little train, golf cart train, but a big one type thing, and brings you to that resort. And their bar tab package works there. But your food is included, chairs are included, all that sort of thing. Oh, what's wrong? Are you getting an update on the Masters right now?
Connors is already +1 after one hole.
Oh, come on. Poor boy. I feel bad for him.
Sundays are not good for Corey.
He needs a coach, like a mental coach when he's out there.
He should give me a call. I'm positive.
He should give you a coach?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can be tough. And sometimes nice.
Okay.
So So given the choice of cruise ships going more to private islands or private spaces, or hitting actual ports and actual cities and countries, what would be your preference?
You're asking me what my preference is?
Well, your mouth is full of my chocolate.
That's good. Such good chocolate. Thank you.
Neither one of us can talk now.
Thank you, Ruthie. Oh, he was so spoiled. We went to Bruce and Tawny's house. They gave him Lindor chocolate bunnies. Then we go to Ruthie's house. She gives them. He's been eating chocolate all week. So I think the Easter bunny doesn't need to come to our house next week. I think it doesn't need to.
What's your answer?
So I will say I love a private island because I love the snorkel, and I am in my happy place when I'm in the ocean. So I still want to be able to go to the Caribbean and do a lot of private islands and snorkeling and swimming and all of the water, because I mean, for me, that's what the Caribbean is for. And then, do a different cruise that brings me to all the land-based stuff. Like, I'm so excited that we're going to be in Europe in 3 weeks, and we're going to be seeing some phenomenal places in Europe. So that's my that's my belief is in the Caribbean, I want access to the water. Yeah. But if I'm cruising elsewhere in the world, like Europe, then I'm very happy to do land-based excursions and stuff like that.
But you can go to somewhere like Grand Cayman or St. Croix or a lot of these other private or countries in Caribbean countries, and you can snorkel just as good as you can at the private islands. So you don't need to go to private islands for the good snorkeling. Like the ABC Islands is a good example.
Sure. Yeah.
So you can get your snorkel fix without going to the private island.
St. Thomas and stuff like that. Yeah. No, you're right. It's true.
You're spilling chocolate everywhere. That's wasting chocolate. It's like gold dust.
You're brutal. Yeah, I don't know. I do love the relaxation of knowing when you just have a private beach day and you don't have to worry about trying to make arrangements to go on an excursion or do anything. You just walk off the ship early in the morning if you want, or later in the day if you want, and it's totally on your schedule. So I love that idea that, especially when the ship is docked at a private island, you can get back on the ship if you want, or you can, not. And so we've gone on private islands with groups of people, sometimes our children, and they've gone back on the ship before we have, or vice versa. I love that, just having a carefree and it's very relaxed sort of atmosphere.
Pinky Gal Travel says that she likes a balance of both.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. And Steamy Bean is saying, I want the experience of the Caribbean culture. And you're right, you miss out on that if you are just doing the private islands. I think because we've cruised the Caribbean so much, for me, I feel like we've sort of explored most of the communities and culture in them. So now I just want to do the ocean. But
is there anywhere else that has the private island concept other than the Caribbean in the world? Like, there's no, can't imagine anything like that in the Mediterranean or Alaska or Eastern Canada or Norwegian fjords or South Pacific Islands, Australia. I think it's only
the Caribbean,
a Caribbean
that I
thing,
know
right?
Of.
Like, as far as I know, Carnival doesn't have like an island off the coast of PEI in Canada that they have parties at. In Europe, P&O maybe, do they have their own? Or ADA, do they have their own? It'd be interesting to see if any of the Europeans know if there's any spots they go to that are kind of...
So Cynthia's making a point here. She says, hello, if there are less ports on a cruise, how about 2 days at the private islands? And so they are doing that. Some cruises are doing that. We were fortunate enough to do that when we were on the MSC Seaside.
Sure.
I forget which one it was, but I loved that we had an overnight there because, we got off and spent all day there. And the next morning we got back up and went right out, or they had a dance party on the beach. MSC does that because when they do their overnight, they have like a light show on the lighthouse there, and all the crew and entertainment staff move to the beach and they do a dance party, and it was a blast. I loved it. We had a lot of fun there. So yeah, that's a unique thing too that they're starting to do. Masters
update: Rory had a double bogey on the first hole, and now he's tied with Bryson. Rory's not doing well, neither is Connors at the beginning.
So Kylie's saying she's never heard of a private island in the Med. So yeah, I do think it is just a Caribbean thing, I believe. Jerry, a little off topic, Paul and Luann are saying, but I think a great prize for the secret word would be your white Masters hat. I love it, Paul. Yeah, we can do that.
What hat?
Or I could give you gently used ones from years in the past that have like suntan stains on the inside. So
Take
he
my
always
hat.
buys white because if you've watched our vlogs, he likes to have a hat when we're in the Caribbean or the sun, and not a dark hat that's going to bring the sun to him. But they're hard to keep looking new. So I kind of wish you would have bought like a blue one or something. Anyways.
Trying to take my hat.
That's a great one, Paul. Very good. Heidi's saying ports over islands, did Alaska, and then 16-day reposition to Miami. So for her, it's the ports over the islands. Uh-huh.
Cynthia's husband's watching the game.
He's glued to the TV. For sure he is. And Bruce is saying the Lighthouse show is amazing on MSC's private island. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Ocean Cay.
MSC's private island.
They do it really well. Their food, I will say, is probably the worst food I've had on a private island. But the beaches are beautiful, and their light show and the party in the evening, all of that goes really well.
How about worst food on private island? You're saying MSC.
Well, for me,
what's the best food on the private island?
Well, for me, it would go back to Perfect Cay. I will say that Perfect Day at Perfect Cay was the best food I've had on the islands ever.
They were better than the cupcakes on Half Moon Cay?
I do love the cupcakes on Half Moon Cay, but when I was there last time with the group cruise, I didn't have my favorite flavor, which was the chocolate one. So, yeah. Anyways, but no, definitely overall best food that I've had that's been free and included that you haven't paid extra for is Perfect Cay.
Perfect Day.
Perfect Day at Perfect Cay.
At Coco
Whatever. At Coco Cay. Royal Caribbean's private island, okay? It's such a tongue twister. But yes, that's the best food.
Yes, you have to have their secret sandwich there. It's not on the menu. You go up and ask them and they'll make it, but you have to know to ask for it, and that's delicious.
You're going to tell people what this... Sorry, I have chocolate in my mouth now. You shouldn't have brought that down.
Why
here.
are you eating my chocolate?
Because you've already eaten so much of it. I need to catch up.
I'm going to hide my bunny way over here.
You're going to tell people what's on that sandwich that you just talked about?
It's a secret.
You're just going to say, I want the secret sandwich and let them figure it out on their own?
They either have to go on their own and find out,
okay,
or they have to go back and watch our vlog.
Oh, there you go. That's two ways of finding out. I think we did mention it in our live the first time we came back from that island too.
It's a secret.
Okay. All right. He's in a mood. He's in a mood.
So would you ever book a cruise specifically because it goes to one of your favorite private islands?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
We have been looking right now this week, like probably most of you, or we do almost every week. Anyways, we have been looking at doing a Caribbean cruise, and we've been comparing different cruise lines, trying to figure out which one we should go on, which one. And Jerry gave me 3 options, all within the same price. And my one question was, I was asking if the celebrity ship that he was looking at went to Perfect Cay, because if it did, I would have been like, yep, let's book it. And unfortunately, it doesn't. But I would have had he told me it went to Perfect Cay, I would have been like, yes, I want to get back there. Let's do it.
Twyla agrees. She says yes. I think she would book a cruise based on a private island. So probably for Twyla, it would have to be Half Moon Cay.
Yeah, I think that's her favorite. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
Star Princess. So it looks like Cynthia's going on the Star Princess
on January 3rd.
Yeah, we're kind of curious to see if they fixed any of the things that weren't,
or what will be the differences between the sun and the star, for sure.
Yeah, and speaking of Majestic Princess, that a lot of you have said you're going on, just came out of dry dock and added some new features, including the pub.
They have the Irish pub in there now. O'Malley's is on it.
Heidi says I'm sassy.
Yes, he is sassy. Because his guy isn't doing well at the Masters. You're right, Heidi. That's probably what it is. Yeah, he's in quite the Masters mood. Yeah. Just before we did the live, our son and his wife was over watching the Masters with Jerry. Well, our son was watching the Masters, and my daughter and I were like falling asleep watching with them. But the two of them get talking about the Masters, and he's full of piss and vinegar by the time we started the show.
We got out the maps. We're ready to go.
They are, yeah. They're figuring it out. It's very strategic and mathematical as to what angle, and it was quite the conversation going on.
So Chris is saying that they're booked on the Celebrity Beyond in February 27. It's going to hit Nassau and Cozumel, and Royal's new beach clubs will be open by then.
Ooh, exciting,
So by new beach clubs, do you mean, is that going to be Costa Maya?
Yeah, I believe so.
So that would probably be in that run.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because I haven't heard a date on that one at Costa Maya to see.
Nice.
I noticed that some cruise lines, I think it's Princess, has stopped calling it Costa Maya because they think they're going to trick people into Newport.
Into a new port. Yeah.
Something Mahala or something they
Every
call
time
it.
Jerry reads me a cruise itinerary and he says Costa Maya, I'm like, oh, really? So I think that is good at marketing for them to change the name.
Gail says she prefers ports over private islands. At this point, we just schedule beach days.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And Kate is saying she's going on the Majestic Princess next Monday, so she'll be on it newly renovated.
Oh, yeah.
From Rome to Venice. Nice.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, we're going to be over there for our patron cruise next May. But we're actually going to be in 3 weeks. We're going to be in Europe too.
We are.
I almost forgot.
We are. I was like, yeah.
I've been so busy.
Yes, you have.
I've been taking snow tires off the car in hopes that the snow is going to stop.
Although he does tell me we're still supposed to get snow on Tuesday.
A little bit.
But it is melting and kind of looks like we might eventually live in a spot without snow. I'm hopeful that'll happen.
Bruno keeps wanting to go on the back deck because he thinks it feels like spring coming in the front window. But when he goes out the back door where the snow is on the deck, he realizes it's still wintertime here.
Yeah, he lies in the living room in the sunspot and he gets really hot and he wants to go outside to get the fresh air and lie in the sun because that's what he does all summer long. So he scratches at the door until we open it. We open it and he realizes that the snow is still over his head and he comes back in the house.
And when it comes to Bimini and Virgin, why didn't it rank up there as your favorite or near your top? Because it has a beautiful pool.
I can't snorkel. That's why I didn't rate it. That's my top for me.
Because the beach that's there doesn't have any reefs.
Yeah. There's no snorkeling for me there, like that I can just walk off and do my own. I could have booked a snorkeling tour and they would have taken me to another spot of the island. But for me, I loved that our perfect day at Coco Cay was I spent the morning snorkeling and we spent the afternoon in the pool. It sort of, amalgamated our both of our wants and desires on the perfect beach day. Was Jerry wants to be in a pool, I want to be where I can snorkel, so we got to both have what we like the best. So that's why. Teamwork, compromise. That's how our marriage lasts. Compromise.
Just like you helped me change the snow tires.
I did. I helped him change tires this weekend, guys.
She was working the jack and lifting the car up.
Yeah, the things that he gets me doing. Yeah, I asked him. He had a list of stuff that he had to do yesterday. I asked him if he needed help with anything, and some of it was cooking because we were having company over. So I thought he would let me at least cut vegetables or do stuff. And he's like, "Yeah, I could use your help in the garage changing the snow tires." I'm like, "What? You actually want me to come out and help with that?" So there you go. Old dog learning new tricks.
Heidi is saying that hopes it warms up there. They're 20 minutes away from Detroit Airport.
Oh, wow.
We were just in Detroit Airport a couple of days ago.
We were on our way back. Well, no, on our way down.
We were in the lounge. We found a new trick for the lounge.
So, we enjoy it. The Steamy Bean saying, "Don't shoot the weatherman."
Oh, but
there's been many a times this year I've wanted to, just because he's been giving me a lot of snow forecasts.
I don't know. And Christine is saying that you would be in perfect heaven in Tahiti, French Polynesian, as the reefs are amazing.
Oh, yes.
So that is definitely on the bucket list. I think the second that I either retire or quit from my job, I am going to be doing that cruise.
Yeah, that is, I think, probably Jerry's retirement cruise is that. He's been talking about going to French Polynesian Islands for at least 20 years now. And we haven't done it yet because it's a commitment to do that cruise, both financially and time-wise. So hopefully.
Although it is fairly affordable. When you do a price per night, it is very reasonable. Some of those, especially the ones, there's Holland America does one that goes out of California and goes down and comes back as well. So you don't have to do the long flight either direction. And it's rather affordable, I think.
Yeah, it's affordable when, like you said, priced per night, but it also is a very long journey compared to what we're currently able to do with your time for work.
For sure. I'm surprised there's not private islands down there from people coming the other direction from Australia.
But I don't think there's enough.
Not enough
cruises to warrant it, right? Like you've got to think of all the cruises that are going out of Florida and Texas and New Orleans, all of these places that all go down into the Caribbean, right?
Plus, they don't send the monster mega ships as much to Australia, New Zealand as they do to Florida.
Right.
Right? So you don't have that pressure on all the ports, so they can't handle the few cruise ships that show up.
Yeah.
Because I think part of the private island experience is because of necessity, because where are we going to send these ships if nobody wants them in their ports?
Yeah.
And Celebrity canceled their stop in Labadee in 2 weeks. And I wondered what was going on, because I know that there's been some unrest in Haiti.
We've heard this from a lot of people that have Labadee scheduled as a cruise port, that it's been canceled on either Royal Caribbean ships or Celebrity.
So,
and I do believe it's because of what Jerry just said, political unrest in the area. So they're making sure everybody's safe, which we're all very thankful for.
Yep.
But unfortunately, right?
Yeah, that's too bad, because I've heard good things about it. And we've been trying to go to it. So I'd hate for us to choose a cruise itinerary that went to Labadee and not actually get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Christine's saying, they're in a round trip out of San Diego. Husband's bucket list, one and done.
One and done. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But it's great that you got to do it, for sure.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to do it. The only thing is there's so many sea days, and then you do a few stops on an island, then a whole bunch more sea days and a couple more stops. So I think the one I was looking at was 35 days, but of the 35 days, there was over 20 sea days. So it's a lot of sea days. If it's Holland America and you have a cabana rented, that's not too bad, because you're relaxing in the cabana. But I'm sure to rent a cabana for 35 days is
it would be pricey.
It'd be more expensive than renting a condo in New York City for a month, I think.
No.
I bet it would give it a run. I bet.
Oh, really? We're gonna have to do some math when we get off this live, guys, and figure it out.
Be close.
It's pretty expensive, New York City. I don't know.
I know. The cabanas are up to $500 a week, so you might be looking at a couple $1,000s for a month on a cabana,
and you're paying a lot more than that for a condo in New York City.
Okay, well, it'll be more than a rental in Sault Ste. Marie for a month.
Oh my! Anyways, well, it is almost time that you get to go back and watch your Masters.
It's the top of the hour. Let's do a check here. There's still a tie in first. I haven't seen any new scores come in. That's why. Oh, it looks like Corey must have parred the second hole. So at least he didn't fall back any further.
Oh, that's good.
Yep. So go Canada, go Corey. If not, go Ireland, go Rory.
Yeah, I kind of want Rory to win. I mean, of course, I'm cheering for Corey. It'd be nice, but I'll be happy if Rory wins. Yeah. Anyways.
Yep, it's going to be an interesting Sunday afternoon to see how that plays out. And I have to go eat some egg salad sandwiches.
Not me, thankfully.
Oh, and one more thing. We will not be around next week.
We will not be. It's Easter.
It's Easter, and we're between. I have to do some extra shifts at work, and we have family coming and going. That we're figured that Sunday Live will have to wait another 2 weeks.
That's right. So we will be having one.
One more when we come back and do the one after Easter. That'll be our last one before we go to Europe.
Before we get ready to go to Europe. So we'll be all excited about that, and we'll be looking for all your hints and tips of how to make sure we have a wonderful trip.
For sure. So have a good week, or actually have a good 2 weeks. Enjoy your Easter that's coming up next weekend.
Yes.
Hopefully you get lots of this stuff here. Get some chocolate. I'm hoping for a big stash of it. Hopefully I'll be eating it on the next live as well. I'm going to go buy it myself. I've been known to do that.
Yes, he has been known to do that. Yeah. He has.
So it looks like we're back on the 20th is what I'm hearing. Nope, 14 days from today. 27th we will be back. Yeah.
All right.
Is that right?
I don't know.
Yes, that's right. 27th is the next time we're going to be back. The end of April, right before we go to Europe.
Excellent.
Okay, so have a good 2 weeks. Have a great Easter. Enjoy watching the rest of the Masters. And if you're traveling, stay safe and have a wonderful time.
Yes, happy Easter holiday this week coming up, everybody.
Take care, everybody.